are the New York Knicks. I'm back in the New York groove. Well, it's the Knicks. New York. We are the New York Knicks. New York girl. For this new season we're about to enter, the Knicks is taking no shorts, just like winter. New York, New York.
New York be about the Knicks, huh?
But the best thing about New York City is
K-N-I-C-K-S.
Everybody say go New York, go New York, go!
Go New York, go New York, go!
Hey everybody, welcome to episode 682 of the New York Knicks podcast. I am Jay. With me is Mark. Mark, here's something that I have not been able to say in 682 episodes. The Knicks are going to the conference finals.
Eastern Conference Finals. It is 25 years. Holy crap.
Yeah, 25 long years. And coincidentally, it was the Pacers 25 years ago. So
apparently the last four times the Knicks have been in the Eastern Conference Finals, it's been against the Pacers.
Yeah.
Including this time. Kind of amazing they always play the Pacers. We have quite a history. I feel like there's so many teams we have not even met in the playoffs, and we play the goddamn Pacers every time we go to the playoffs.
It's crazy. I mean, 6 times in 8 years in the 90s, and then that one time in the early 2010s that they played. So it's a good long historic rivalry. So
right. When's the last time the Knicks have played the Bucks in the playoffs? Or
I couldn't even tell you.
Yeah, I have no idea. There's a bunch of teams where when's the last time they played the Raptors in the playoffs? I have no idea. There are plenty of teams where they've never played, but the Pacers every goddamn time.
I think the Raptors was 2001.
Yes, actually, you're right. But it's been a while. Jay, so I have a question for you. Why are we not hearing about OKC fans or Minnesota fans or Pacer fans being criticized for being too happy about their team getting to the Eastern Conference or the conference finals?
Oh, they're running out of the Knicks lost narratives, so now they got to go to the fans, I guess.
Right. Now it's like, how dare the Knicks fans make a big deal about getting here? It's only been 20. Act like you win the title every goddamn year. That's how you should behave. You shouldn't be into your team. You shouldn't be super excited over the moon about your team, because that's now a bad thing.
Reggie Miller said he hates the Knicks because their fans are front runners. Pretty sure the Knicks are selling out games during the Isaiah Thomas, Eddie Curry years. That is the opposite of a front runner. That is diehard fans.
Went crazy for the last game of a season when they won 17 games. The fans want to. The fans, they suffered so much. They're so excited. The way the fans were after Game 6 against the Celtics, that's awesome. Every fan base should be jealous of how into it the Knicks fans are.
Yeah. So I am also very glad. Well, there's a number of reasons I'm glad. One, of course, the Knicks just kicked Boston's ass. But the fact that it didn't go to Game 7 means they have 5 days off between games.
Right. It's weird because the Knicks have 5 days off. The Pacers had even more. OKC, I guess, has a half hour off between games.
Yeah, they're like, all right, guys, doubleheader. You won.
Right.
Congratulations.
Why would you have the last game for that series on Sunday and the first game of the next series on Tuesday? No spacing out whatsoever. You could at least flip-flop the Tuesday and Wednesday games.
Yeah. Well, since I'm rooting for Minnesota, I'm happy with that schedule.
Yes, I would love to see Minnesota win. I have nothing but – well, I like Hardenstein, but I want to see him lose. So I don't want to see OKC, mostly for the fact that I feel like they're the worst matchup for the Knicks.
They're the worst matchup for the Knicks. Also, I'm kind of annoyed with all those commercials where they're just supposed to be the coolest guys ever, and they're just walking out of the clubs looking so cool. I feel like they're the NBA's pushing them on us, and I'm pushing back.
Whatever. They're a good team. It's better than seeing the Lakers or some other jackass team.
Of course. I mean, so this conference finals, there's I believe 3 of the teams haven't won ever, and the Knicks haven't won in 50 years. So,
right, that is crazy.
Yeah.
That is a really crazy. The interesting thing about the NBA right now is this will be, what has it been, 8? How many years has it been since they had what?
I think it's the 7th straight year with 7 different winners.
Yeah, that's parity. That's so much. I mean, I think Bill Simmons was complaining on his podcast today about and Bill Simmons, it was a good podcast. He's great. But he was complaining about how the second apron kind of makes it harder to have repeat champions. He wasn't really, he was complaining more about the Celtics might have to move on from Jaylen Brown and so forth. But forgetting that part of it, if the parity second apron, all that, if that brings about different title champions every year, that's such a more fun league. Do you remember the years when it was like every year we knew it was going to be Miami versus Miami was going to go to the finals every year. There was going to be Golden State versus Cleveland 4 straight years. It was just like I can't know who's going to be in the. I don't want to know who's going to be in the finals on the day the season starts.
Yeah, it was literally like game one. We're like, well, who do you think's going to win the finals? And
right.
Golden State or Cleveland, and it's like it was just so boring.
Right. I don't want a spoiler alert on the first day of the season. I want to have different teams. I want to have different teams having a shot. It makes the season so much more fun. If you look at these teams, OKC, yeah, they had a really great season. People weren't sure about them. They're close to the finals. Great for them. Minnesota, I don't think anyone would have dreamed Minnesota would be back in the conference finals after the season they had and the big trading cat and everything else. The Knicks are a shock. Pacers are a shock. It's a much more exciting league.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so Game 6. Okay,
wait, a special announcement from Anthony here. He's going to be a father. Congratulations, Anthony.
Congratulations, Anthony. That's awesome. That's fantastic news. It's almost as good as the Eastern Conference Finals, but it's pretty good news also.
Yeah.
People becoming a father happen more often than, but congratulations, that's amazing news. But Jay, so we didn't record we last recorded after Game 4. Game 5 happened. Mm-hmm. Do you want to comment at all on Game 5?
I mean, it was an embarrassing ass kicking, but maybe that's the kick the Knicks needed.
It was whatever. I mean, it was tied at halftime. We all had the feeling of like, shouldn't the Knicks be up? Why are they tied? Then in the third quarter, following the orders of the NBA, the refs just went full shenanigans on the Knicks, and the Knicks just got
5 fouls in one quarter in like a 9-minute span for Brunson it was pretty shameful.
Well, I have a question. So you saw 5 fouls in Brunson in a very short period of time. He fouled out from that game, and that seemed ridiculous. Would Celtics fans say it's ridiculous that Jaylen Brown fouled out the next game?
Yeah, probably.
Okay. But Brunson's fouls were legit. Brunson's were not legit. So,
I mean, they probably would, but like, I don't know. Like, I feel like the Celtics game was getting out of hand before Brown even fouled out.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. The game was already like lopsided and the Knicks were kicking their ass. That game 5 was such a frustrating game. You kind of felt like the league was out to get you. You were like, what the hell happened? And like all the things that before the game, I was like, all you have to do is do not leave Derek White and Pritchard open. Do not leave them open from 3. Do not leave. And forgetting the refs, they were open, like permanently open from 3-point land. The Knicks just could not guard them. The Knicks were like, oh my God, Derek White's near the 3-point line. Let's double team someone else.
I think Derek White had 17 threes in the first 6 minutes of the first quarter. I don't have the box score in front of me, but it sounds right.
I think that's about right. I mean, you might be off by 1. It was ridiculous. How worried were you after Game 5?
I was pretty well. I also want to comment that the Knicks wasted a 6-for-6 free throw game from Mitch and a 5-for-9 3-point game from Hart. If you told me those two things happened, I would have said the Knicks won by 67 points.
Wasn't it the second game that Josh Hart was their leading scorer?
Yeah.
The second game of the series. You wouldn't have expected Josh Hart to be the leading scorer for the Knicks in 2 games that they where they won the series.
It was a weird series because you had Pritchard lead all scorers when Tatum and Brown were there, or at least the Celtics. You had a Hart lead in scoring. It was just a very weird series.
And Mitch, who couldn't hit a free throw to save his life, suddenly becomes Mark Price for the free throw line. He's like, keep fouling me, guys. I dare you.
It was a lot of weird things going on. But, it was a really bad game, and I was pretty nervous going into Game 6. I was
Do you want to
thinking,
mention also Luke Cornett being Dikembe Mutombo? I think you made that joke already off the show, but and 8 million people have made that joke also.
yeah, it said Luke Mutombo and Derek Curry.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I had a feeling that in Game 6 we were going to know what was going to happen within like the first 5 minutes of the game. Like the Knicks are either going to come out like in full force or they're just going to choke the series. And they look good like right from the start. And I was feeling good like 5 minutes into the game. I was like, all right, this is the way the Knicks should look.
They had a players-only meeting before the game, and they just said, like, Game 5 was just, that was not us. That's not how we play.
Mm-hmm.
We basically just saying to each other, we were embarrassed by how Game 5 played out. This is not who we are. Let's step it the hell up, and they did.
And, maybe sometimes that's what a team needs. Maybe they need, like, a reality. Maybe they got Tatum's out. We're just going to cruise to a victory. And, maybe they just needed a little bit of a humbling.
Should the Knicks do player-only meetings before every game of the Pacers series and do layup lines between each quarter?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, so Game 6, which is just like a masterpiece from the Knicks.
Yeah. 4 out of 5 starters got scored 20 points, and
Yes.
Josh Hart had a triple-double. Like, you can't ask for better.
And the minutes police will be very happy with the Knicks minutes.
Yeah. Most minutes
Everyone
was OG
averaged
with
mid-30s
37.
minutes. It was totally fine.
Although the Knicks were up by like 30 with 6 minutes left in the fourth, and Tibbs still had the starters in, and it looked like Rick Brunson was telling Tibbs to pull the starters, and then Jalen Brunson got up to say something, and then he finally pulled. So it was a little too much. I was like, if anybody rolls an ankle right now, just fire Tibbs on the spot. On the other hand, give him a permanent extension if they win the game. I was like one extreme or the other.
I felt like the Celtics had kind of started pulling guys. So they had kind of conceded the game
Yeah.
by the beginning of the fourth quarter. At the same time, if they hit they're up by 32 points. If they hit a few threes in a row, suddenly they put their starters back in. Suddenly the game gets interesting. And Tibbs just did not want the game to get interesting at any point. And you're like, I'm just about to get the Eastern Conference Finals. I don't want to F with this. I'm probably not going to have any issues if I leave these guys in for a few more minutes.
I guess. I don't know. The Celtics had like 60 points in 3 quarters, and they were
Right.
By 30.
I get the nervous. I get the Tibbs are like, I don't want to be the coach that pulls everyone to begin the quarter. 12 minutes. Suddenly the Celtics hit 4 threes in a row. It's an 18-point game. And suddenly we're starting to get nervous, basically.
I mean, if you're blowing a 30-point lead to Baylor Shireman and Torrey Craig, then
Of course. But you know what? You don't want to have wow, in a completely idiotic move, Tibbs pulled everyone to begin the fourth quarter, and they lost the game.
Yeah.
There was what was it? Didn't Randall or someone else said that he's just been traumatized by Tracy McGrady coming back from a 20-point lead at some point many years ago, and since then he just does not take start. He just pulls everyone late in the game.
yeah, he's like forever traumatized from that game.
He's like I learned the only lesson I've ever learned is don't pull your starters. Nothing else I've ever learned. That thing I freaking learned.
But anyway, I mean, he outcoached Missoula.
Absolutely. There was so much to love about this game. There was I kind of just went through things the Knicks did right in this game. First of all, offensive and defensive rebounding, they just crushed the Celtics. The Knicks, it felt like Mitch played longer than 14 minutes in the game. They only played 14 minutes, but he got key rebounds. He had that defensive play where he covered the entire floor, getting the steal from Jaylen Brown at the end of the play.
Mm-hmm.
But the Knicks just were getting every rebound. They were switching. They were just going with the switch. They weren't leaving anyone open from 3. Every time Derek White wanted to shoot a 3, he was covered. Every time Pritchard wanted to shoot a 3, he was covered. Faster pace. They were actually kicking the ball out, which I thought was great. They really weren't doing that every game where you're double, triple team down low, kick the ball out for an open shooter, Cat shot more threes, even though he didn't shoot it, even though he didn't make them all. Deuce played really well on defense. He had an open 3. He had a 3 in Derek White's face.
Mm-hmm.
there were so many great moments of that game, and so many things the Knicks just did so much better.
The Knicks won the rebounding battle 55-36. And
Yeah.
Mitch only had 4 rebounds. So it was, they were getting second and third. I mean, that's how they basically won the game. They second and third chance points. And
the Knicks didn't even shoot that amazing from 3. It wasn't like there was some game where the Knicks were hitting all their shots. I mean, they shot decent from the field, but like it wasn't like they were crushing it. Their defense was so good in this game.
Yeah, this was like an elite. This is what you expected the Knicks defense to look like.
Right. The Knicks scored. I mean, they scored 119 points, which was a lot of points. But they allowed the Celtics 81 points while letting their foot off the pedal. Like they did basically. They're like, okay, Celtics, we're not going to try as hard, and you only get to 81 points.
Yeah. The Celtics had 57 going into the fourth.
Yeah. So yeah, it was crazy. I mean, the Celtics also didn't shoot as well, and whatever you want to say. And the Celtics, even if they had Tatum for next year, the Celtics have a lot of problems going into next year, even with a healthy Tatum.
Yeah.
Like Al Horford looks. You can't be counting on Horford for a lot. You can't be counting on Cornette for a lot. KP should be better. I mean, I guess he has some respiratory issue.
Should he? I mean, he's injured almost every year, and he's in his 30s now, right?
Yeah, I mean, so going into next year, I mean, they're not going to have Tatum's going to be out all next year. I think Cornette and Horford are not signed for next year, and the team is already into the second apron. And they're going to try to get under the apron. Drew Holiday looks terrible.
Yeah.
We talked about it last show, but like, I mean, the Bucks, like, I said it was a just insanely stupid move trading Dame and kind of giving up Drew Holiday. But the Bucks still wouldn't be. If they had Drew Holiday, they would have had one more good year of Drew Holiday than they would have this version of him.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, they definitely missed one more year of like peak defensive Drew Holiday, but this year he looked bad, and he's 34. He'll be 35 by next season.
Signed him like 3 or 4 more years. Go Celtics.
It's just every time I think like we got a team that's on the verge of a dynasty, like Denver loses like basically all their key bench players. Boston has 2 key players that are just too old to rely on. Like just in Milwaukee, obviously, like Middleton is basically washed up and he got traded, and I mean the door is closed so much quicker than you think.
No champion has even made it past the second round the following year in years. Mm-hmm. It's crazy how fast the window, as you just said, the window closed. Is like, I thought coming into this year, I was like, the Celtics are flat out the best team in the NBA. They should win the title, no question. They got exposed really easily.
I think the
Warriors, not real easily, but like they got like they have so many more issues than I realized basically until the Knicks until we saw the series.
Right. Yeah, I'd be a little concerned, not just for the Tatum piece. I mean, the Knicks figured out how to beat them.
Right. They were saying, and Bill Simmons went through on his podcast about like what the Celtics should do and try to get. They probably will try to, because next year's a lost year anyway. They'll probably try to get under the second apron, and you should listen to a show. You should listen to a show. His show's worth listening to. The show's always worth listening to, but it's an interesting discussion about them. But it's almost like they need to rebuild around Tatum 2 years from now, like just like start a new
right. I mean, the crazy thing is like he'll still only be like 28, so it's not like oh, that's unrealistic. Like he's still going to be like in his prime basically, as long as he fully recovers from the surgery. Which I heard he got surgery the very next morning. Because the theory is that if you get the surgery before the swelling happens, it significantly cuts down on the recovery period, which I hadn't heard about before, but I thought that was interesting. So now they're saying he could be back for like next year's playoffs.
Yeah, okay. I was joking with a friend who both of us have some back issues, and we were like, what if they were like, Tatum, I'm sorry, like you have to do 8 to 10 weeks of PT, and then we can approve you for an MRI.
Yeah, he just has to go through like our insurance.
Yeah, he has to go through. He's like, oh man, like you guys only covering this portion of it. I mean, I know I make a lot of money, but this is ridiculous.
It's like November before they even like approve him for the surgery.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, we're going through the paperwork where we're trying to get the approval. We're trying.
Oh, sorry. There's a wait for your doctor. You're scheduled for surgery in February.
Yeah, exactly. So the Celtics, they can talk. They have a whole offseason to talk about things. The Knicks look awesome. This is the best Knicks team we've had in 25 years. How excited are you, Jay?
I'm super excited. I'm cautiously optimistic about the Pacers series. It's going to be tough. We could go through the matchups if you want.
Yes, let's go. I'm on cloud nine about. I'm glad we have all these days off so I can just enjoy this win for a little bit longer. I also was interesting. They asked Deuce McBride after game 6, how long do you enjoy this? And he said it's basically like 24 hours. I get 24 hours to enjoy this, and then we go down to the hard work to figure out how to win the next series.
I'm so glad this team is all about business, and they're not they were happy, but they weren't cheering like they won the championship. They knew they're only halfway to a championship, and
they're not cheering like their insane fans are cheering. Basically,
yes. Yeah.
It's also when you hear the media talk about people talking about. So a lot of people are picking. It's not like last series, but everyone was picking the Celtics. This series, some people are picking the Knicks, some people are picking the Pacers. It's both teams. The Knicks had 51 wins. The Pacers had 50. But some people are talking about this they're like, do you know the Pacers' offensive attack? The Knicks will be just so thrown off by how fast they play and their offense. And I'm like, do you not remember the teams went to war last year? You think Tibbs isn't aware of what the Pacers are?
Right.
You think he's not been plotting on how to murder the Pacers since that Game 7 ended?
Right. Yeah.
Tibbs is psychotically obsessed with this stuff. He's made his team very well aware of how much they got their ass kicked last year, and it doesn't matter how many guys were injured. This team is a force. We have to be as prepared as possible.
It's also the same team.
Yeah.
So, they're definitely prepared, or they should be, because they know who they're playing.
Right. It's not like in the Detroit series, hey, this is a different Detroit team that you played in previous years. If you played, even though I guess the Cavs played the Pacers played the Cavs. The Cavs were a little bit different than the previous years. Well, I guess they still lost, whatever. But it's the same. The Knicks are a little bit different than last year. The Pacers are the exact same. It's the same starting lineup, the same bench players. The only difference is Ben Mathurin is healthy. There's no other difference.
Right.
Benedict Mathurin, sorry. Is there any other difference in the Pacers team that I'm not aware of?
No, I don't think so. Last year was the big change, which was getting Siakam, but this year it's the same team.
Yeah.
They basically just ran it back, yeah.
They ran it back, which makes sense. Last year they got to the Eastern Conference Finals. Why not run it back? The team has had another year to play together. They're going to be more – they'll be better in the sense they've been playing together for longer. But it's the same. I think people were saying how the Pacers have become really good on defense and really good at this and that. I'm like, I think we've seen all this. The Knicks are not going to be surprised. There's no way the Knicks are walking into the series going we're better than them. This will be easy. This will be the Knicks know they're going to war.
Yeah.
By the way, how much do you hate the goddamn Pacers?
So much.
I Detroit. I never really hated.
No.
I guess last year. I'm just thinking about back. Last year, I hated Philly, of course.
Yeah.
And the Boston, I disliked Boston. I thought Boston was the better series going into the series. I think the Knicks are better than the Pacers, and I really dislike the Pacers. And I've just been thinking about how much I dislike the Pacers. It's all this stuff. I didn't think we're really going back to last year. It's going to be awesome, but man, I hate the Pacers.
Yeah, even with Boston, how many times have they played in the playoffs? And when we can remember, twice.
The Knicks are 2-0 against Boston the last 2 times they faced them, which is nice.
Yeah. But it's not it's a rivalry. It's twice in 25 years.
Just thinking about Rick Carlisle last year complaining about the Pacers not getting any calls and how crazy it is not getting any calls. And then the league was like, okay, Carlisle, here are some calls. Yeah, I can't stand this team. You want to do the matchups?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. And by the way, last year the Knicks were all injured, and they took the Pacers to 7. They should have won the series if they had a little bit more health, the Knicks can win that series.
Oh, 100%. I mean, if they had 4 guys injured, they probably would have won. They literally had 6 guys injured. So
if OG is healthy in that game, that would have made a huge difference. If Brunson basically doesn't get injured, I mean, they were already losing that game when Brunson was injured. But, like, if Josh Hart isn't falling over in pain, like...
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's do the matchups. Okay, I guess we go Turner versus Cat?
Yes.
Or
yeah.
Okay. It's a weird matchup here also in the sense of, like... I think the Knicks better... Is the Knicks better lineup, their starting lineup against the Pacers, or with Mitch? What's the better lineup against them?
It's a tough one because they're a running team. They're really fast. It might be their regular starting lineup for this one. Last series, for the Boston series, I thought with Mitch they were better. This series, they might be better off with Cat.
I mean, the thing is that Mitch makes a huge difference in offensive rebounds and defensive rebounds. Rebounding would be a place to get a big edge on the Pacers.
Yeah.
And I worry the 5-man lineup will not get enough, the starting lineup will not get enough rebounds against them. Any concern about that?
Not a huge amount because the Knicks are long. They still have really good. I mean, they got Hart, who is just so good rebounding for his size, and I think Towns can hold his own against Turner. I think the key matchup is probably OG Siakam.
I feel like one of the Knicks' big advantages in this, like Knicks' the way they play well, and one of their big advantages, like they're not the better 3-point shooting team. They're not the better shooting team, but they should be the better rebounding team, which makes a big difference. Mm-hmm. I want to see a fair amount of Mitch and Towns on the floor together. Hopefully we'll get that. Okay, Turner versus Towns. Who are you giving it to, Jay?
I'm giving it to Towns, but it is a tough matchup.
I mean, this should be easily Towns, right?
It should be, yes. It should be.
But you feel like it's a tough matchup because Turner shoots a lot of threes and blocks shots?
He's going to pull Towns out to the 3-point line, and he's pretty fast. So I'm worried about that on that end, but also on the other end, I don't know if Turner's going to be able to handle Towns. So I don't think either one's going to be. They're going to negate each other, I think. Towns slight edge, but I do think it's a tough matchup. So
the Celtics and other teams have Celtics and Detroit put a smaller guy on Towns to kind of negate him. So the Celtics, they put you had Drew Holiday on him, you had Tatum on him, you had other guys basically guarding him. Detroit had Tobias Harris. The Pacers, what do you think they do? I think they're going to start with Turner. I mean, what are their other options? Siakam, after that, they get pretty... the size difference is too much, right? Right. I mean, obviously you go a smaller guy. Well, Naismith is 6'6", and they were talking about him being their elite defender. Maybe Naismith guards him. Nemhart's 6'4". Mm-hmm. Maybe I could see maybe Naismith guarding him some. They try to do to Towns what OKC did to Jokic. Yeah. I think just putting a smaller guy that annoys. But I don't think they do that. Okay, so and the Knicks, do you want Towns on Turner? Is there any advantage to having anyone else cover him? I don't think so. I think Siakam is the bigger threat, so you'd probably want OG on Siakam. Right. And I guess Josh Hart's going to give up too much size on Turner. Right. Okay, Siakam, OG. Where are you going with this? I mean, obviously, defense, OG, offense, Siakam. Yeah, I think, yeah, of course. If we can get, OG has showed up for offense a couple times a series, so that's the X factor. If OG can get cooking, right now, this one's pretty close to a wash too. Right. I mean, maybe the advantage goes Siakam. I don't know. I love OG, but maybe the advantage goes Siakam here. That's a tough one. Yeah. It's a very close one. Okay. Then you have, I guess, Naismith versus Hart. Bridges or Hart? I don't know. Okay, Bridges. Or which one you wanted? I think it will be Nesmith Hart. Okay, Nesmith Hart.
I'm gonna go
Pretty
Hart.
close also.
Yeah, it's close. So I'm gonna go Hart. Like, I feel like the Knicks have the advantage across the board, but they're all like minuscule.
Pretty close.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, okay, so Nemhart, Bridges. I gave it Bridges. It's close again.
Yeah.
These are all close. Yeah, you're right. These are all close. Halliburton versus Brunson. If you say Halliburton, we can end the show right here.
Yeah. I mean, it's Brunson. It's a tough cover for Brunson though.
Yeah, well, he can't. I don't think we really want Brunson covering.
No,
Halliburton.
Brunson will probably cover Nemhard.
Right. I think you want Bridges on
Yeah.
Halliburton,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, definitely.
That seems the most logical. Maybe
Yeah.
you could switch in. You need OG to cover Siakam, so you really need. It's going to be Hart or Bridges. Ideally Bridges.
Mm-hmm.
And Deuce will come in and do a fair amount on Halliburton also.
Mm-hmm.
Deuce is going to have a big role in this series.
Yeah. Yeah. So then on the bench, you got Deuce, Mitch. That's pretty much all Tibbs is going to play, right? Deuce and Mitch. And
4 minutes of campaign.
Right. And then you got McConnell, Mathurin, Toppin, and Bryant.
Okay. This one's an interesting. I mean, TJ McConnell just was drove us crazy last series.
Yeah.
He was the X factor for the Pacers. I don't know. I feel like maybe the Pacers have the edge here because of how much of an X factor McConnell was last time.
I think they have the edge just because they have 4 playable guys, whereas
Right.
it seems like the Knicks are only going to play 2. So you got the fatigue factor in there. This is close.
Mathurin's
is close.
pretty good.
I mean,
Mathurin's a good player. Like he's not necessarily a bench player in most teams.
right. I mean, I might give the Knicks the edge across the board, but they're all by a hair. So you have like an off game here or there. Like it's going to be close.
It's going to be a really close series, and I give Tibbs the edge as far as coaching, but Carlisle's a very good coach. This is very close, also.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Obi will have some moments in the series. McConnell, of course. Mathurin will have some moments. It's a tough bench. Do we need the most? Deuce has to. Deuce was looking good in Game 6. He's got to carry that over this series. I know we talked about last show, but like they really, if Tibbs is not going to play campaign more than 4 minutes, how about you just don't play campaign? How about you play DeLon Wright? Give him a chance.
I would much rather see DeLon Wright.
Yeah, I mean, like, what are you saying? Like, well, campaign. I really like how he manages the offense. You're leaving him out there for 4 minutes. You obviously don't care how he manages the offense,
Right?
I mean, even give Landry Shamet the shot. Like, you really have no faith in campaign whatsoever. If you have no faith in campaign, that's the tweak you got to make. That's at least one tweak you got to make for the series.
Yeah, because DeLon Wright was really good on defense when Brunson was out.
Yeah, and he wasn't bad on offense. He could hit a shot or two. Like, he wasn't like an amazing point guard, amazing playmaker, but clearly campaign isn't either.
Yeah, that's like the one tweak I think I would like to see. But other than that, I think this is just going to be like just a really fun like 90s throwback playoff series.
How do you think that the refs will? I guess the NBA, will they treat it like the Detroit series, the Boston? Like, will the refs allow a lot of contact in this series?
You never know. I think there's going to be some games where there's no whistle, and there's other games where every touch foul is a whistle. I think it's going to be game to game, depending on the reffing crew, which is the annoying part about the NBA today. It's like you just don't know how the game is going to be called until 5 minutes into the game.
Right. I mean, it worked out better for the Knicks if there's a looser whistle and they're not calling everything. It also just is a better game.
Yeah.
I can't have like in Game 5 against Boston, there were so many fouls right away on Cat, and you're like, do you really want to see a series where like the refs are like taking major players out of the game for like touch fouls
or just fouling out?
Yeah, or just fouling out. I mean, it's just. You got to let more things go in the playoffs. Also, if I remember correctly, last year the Pacers beat the shit out of Jalen Brunson when he take the ball up the floor. They were fouling the shit out of him all series.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm expecting more of that, and the Knicks can do the same.
Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully, it's just however it's called. It's called like semi-evenly. That's all I want.
Well, I mean, I'm fine with it being called well in the Knicks' advantage. I know you don't want the Knicks to have the advantage there, but
let's be realistic. That's not going to happen.
Well, in
can
fairness,
you remember
the
a single
NBA
game where that's happened?
the NBA may say this. They're like, "Hey, we looked at what the ratings we want for the finals, and you know what we want? Not having Indiana in the finals. We do not want to see Indiana versus OKC in the finals or Indiana versus Minnesota.
Right.
We don't want to have the smallest possible markets in the finals and no one watches."
That is a good argument for the Knicks. Yes.
Right. The NBA, if you care about money and like the ratings, make this happen. Give the edge to the Knicks. And you know what? If afterwards it's just like, oh my God, the rest just were in the bag for the Knicks. You know what my reaction will be? My reaction will be, we're going to the finals. It's wonderful. Can't wait.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I cannot believe we're this close. Like 4 more wins to the finals, 8 more wins, so we go to a parade. This would be just goddamn amazing. And we are not going to have a shot this good again. I don't know when we'll have a shot again this good again.
Right. Yeah. It feels like it's pretty open.
Yeah, it's really open. You don't know what happens next year. The Knicks, knock on every piece of wood you can find, are healthy. Like this could be our year, and this will be this. How you feeling, Jay?
I don't know. I'm kind of in shock. I don't know how to feel right now.
I
don't want to get my hopes up and then
Yeah.
like have the conference finals go poorly. So I'm, like I said, I'm cautiously optimistic, but I don't want to get too hyped up. Just growing up watching the Knicks in the 90s, I've just learned to have my heart ripped out over and over again. So I'm not like
2 years ago, of course, and 2 years ago, the Knicks, they make it to the second round. Who'd they beat in the first round 2 years ago? They beat to get to Miami. They beat
Cleveland.
Cleveland, yes. They beat Cleveland, and then Jay said something before the series, like, look how many guys are even injured for Miami. Look what they're starting. This should be an easy series. Of course, the Knicks lose in Game 6. Mm-hmm. Then last year they go to war, absolute war with Philly, beat them, and they were like, Indiana, we're gonna roll over Indiana. I take my son, spend a ridiculous amount of money to go to Game 7 against the Pacers. The Pacers crush us in Game 7. And, like, it's just like, and now we're like, oh my God, we're in the Eastern Conference Finals. We're so close, and we're the goddamn Pacers, and the Knicks can beat the goddamn Pacers.
Angel writes, Jaylen Brown gave Josh Hart an unwanted hand job. He should press charges for sexual assault.
That was weird. That was a weird, like he grabbed his balls, or I don't know what. It looked like he grabbed his balls.
Weird, interesting defensive strategy.
Yes, though it is a winning. If you got to pull out, you want to win the game. You got to go for everything.
Angel also writes, when we win the championship, does Tibbs retire and make Rick Brunson the next head coach?
Sure. If the Knicks win the title, Tibbs can do whatever the hell he wants.
I don't care what they do if the Knicks win the title. I don't that's it. Like
I'm good. I'm good. You could lose. You could win 17 games a year for the rest of eternity. I just want a title.
Yeah.
By the way, the moment after they win a title, I'll be like, I want a second title.
Yeah.
But oh my God, this is just so goddamn close. It's just like you can kind of. I mean, Wednesday night's going to be crazy. It's going to be absolutely crazy. The Knicks also have home court advantage. How much does that actually matter? Pacers came to MSG and stomped on the Knicks in Game 7. Last series, the Knicks went to Boston, beat them in the first 2 games. Home. They say generally home court no longer matters.
Home court
doesn't matter.
More like hockey, where it doesn't really matter. I mean, the Knicks lost at home twice against Detroit and once against Boston. But then again, on the road, they've been like killing it.
The Athletic did like an article about the home court advantage and how like over the last 10 years, it really hasn't mattered in the playoffs. And it's more about just who can hit more 3-point shots. as opposed to and home court has barely mattered.
Yeah. Yeah, the Knicks are 5-1 on the road.
Yeah. They have a worse record at home.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Knicks should be we'll defer home court.
The Knicks are 3-3 at home.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's very weird.
It's weird. It's weird. I mean, I went the last Saturday, and the Knicks got blown out at home. It just. I mean, the fans are with you. I mean, Game 6, I think the fans were insane, but it doesn't matter every game, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice to have home court, but it's not like a necessity.
By the way, to get a ticket for the Indiana, do you have to prove that you live in Indiana, can name every player on the Pacers team?
Do you know that if Minnesota wins and the Knicks win, the Knicks will have home court for the finals too?
I do know that. I've been thinking about that.
Oh, other fun fact that I told you before the show. Jokic has never beat a team with more than 50 wins in the playoffs in his career. Yeah,
Jay told me this, and I was like, you're wrong. Then I'm like, well, they won the finals. I mean, how gonna? Then I'm like, I look back, I'm like, oh yeah, they beat 8th seeded Miami that year. Well, the 8th seeded Miami obviously didn't have 50 wins. I can't believe Jokic has never beaten a team with 50 wins.
Exactly 50 was this year's Clippers. They've never beaten a team with above 50 wins.
Okay. I guess I should have known when you said above, you meant, but still,
that's insane. Yeah, you would think with a finals run, you'd run into a 55, 60 win team at some point. I mean, the Knicks already did that.
I mean, I don't know how much this goes against their legacy. Well, it's one of those things people when they try to call out Jokic not being call him not being as good as people say, they'll say, well, he never beat a team that had 50 wins.
And most people don't even know that tidbit though. 10 years from now, nobody's going to know that.
Oh, people will remember these tidbits.
You think?
Yeah, I think people seem to always at least with the days of social media, that stuff will always be highlighted.
You think people are 10 years from now going to remember how many injured teams Boston played last year?
No, but they're there'll always be someone like me oh, Jokic, oh, you say he was so good. I heard he never beat a team with over 50 wins in the playoffs. He really was. He was kind of hot garbage that just got lucky. People always say that shit. Mm. I mean, it makes the when people try to do the Jokic Shaq comparisons, I feel Shaq that goes to Shaq, not Jokic there.
Yeah,
I also think Shaq was a more dominant player than there's a different, also much different style.
Yeah, definitely. Andrew says with a shorter rotation, we need to be careful of foul trouble more than the Pacers.
Yeah, well, that was true in every series so far.
Yeah, every single series.
By the way, I also they were talking about the Cavs and how the Cavs, I guess no one on their team averaged over 30 minutes a game.
Right.
So they're the anti-Tibbs model, and yet they got to the playoffs, and half the team was injured, and they lost in the playoffs. And then some critique is they didn't play enough minutes during the regular season. They weren't as ready as they needed to be for the playoffs.
Interesting.
So, yeah. So the minutes police are oh, well, this fucks up our argument even more so. Apparently, if you play them too few minutes, Tibbs laughing in the background. Oh, they didn't play enough minutes. Ooh.
How about that?
Wow, look, my team, everyone played a ton. Everyone played 48 minutes a game, and they're all healthy. What do you know? So what do you think of a non-Knicks, but just playoffs topic, is that there's a lot of people saying there's been a lot of injuries this year, a lot of injuries last year, injuries in the previous year. And because of the 82-game schedule, it's too much. We have to cut it back. It's ruining the league, basically, because we have so many guys injured in the playoffs. What's your take on that?
I mean, I sort of agree with that. I also agree just for, viewer fatigue. It seems like nobody likes an 82-game season.
I disagree. The NBA owners who like money.
Okay,
the players who like money. Everyone likes money. No one wants to take. No one is. I don't hear the players going, "We will take a lot less money to play less games."
Right.
No one. No one. I've not heard a single player being cut my salary by 10% or 15% to make this happen. We're all in unison. All the players will take a 15% cut on our salary to make this happen.
Right, to cut 15% of the season out.
Yeah, no one seems to be saying that.
No, that is true. But from a fan standpoint, like by game 60, you're like, all right, I'm kind of ready for the playoffs now, right?
Oh yeah, of course. But like it's content, and like I'm still watching the games. But yeah, you're right. Like it kind of like games 45 through 80 become more. Games 45 through 70 become less interesting.
Yeah, it's games where I'm like, all right, we're playing a Charlotte team that's 9-46. Like I don't even care about this game.
It's a marathon. I just think that no one on either side is going to take less money.
Yeah.
So that part is there's no way. Also, like the NBA is not going to be like we have 70 games and we're going to charge more for this. And like all these different. I mean, I guess that they sell now the games to like 7 different sources between Apple TV, Amazon, and everything else. But they're not going to get as much money without. Like everyone just wants content.
But are they making a lot of money having like all their big stars get injured in the playoffs?
Yeah, they're making the money. The TV deals are already made. They make tons of money. They sell the commercials. No one's.
I guess.
At no point they have not proven this takes a single dollar away from the NBA.
Okay, well then it's not going to change.
Yeah, I mean, like, and also, like, Kawhi seems to like play 5 games a year and can't be healthy for the playoffs. So many guys, basically, I guess he was healthy this year, but so many guys manage. Just do more load management. If that's what it takes, do more load management. See if it even makes a goddamn difference.
I think it's been proven that load management does not help at all.
It barely helps. The Cavs played less than 30 minutes a game. A bunch of them were injured. You know what the problem is? It's a full contact sport. That's the problem.
Well, it's also I think they move around a lot more because of the everyone's trying to hit threes all the time. So you're running around the 3-point line, which it's a lot more constant movement than it used to be.
Guys are bigger and faster. Yeah, I don't know. Like, you mean, like, we have 15 guys in your roster. Take some games where you play, like, some of the more of the bench if you're really concerned about this. Make it different. Some team is going to have to demonstrate that this really matters, playing less. Right. The minutes, the load management hasn't shown to do. Victor Wembanyama, we're going to use kid gloves on him. Well, he seems to have had injury issues.
Yeah, I mean, instead of not playing on back-to-backs, I might just do like 30 minutes on the first game and 25 in the second or something, instead of like 35-35. Like, just tap the brake pedal a little bit. Don't like have him sit out.
Sure. I mean, Tibbs also ran his team into the ground, and everyone's healthy. I mean, they're healthy enough, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, the injuries they do have are kind of random, like Brunson's ankle, Towns' fingers, like they're injuries, but that wouldn't have not happened if Tibbs played them less minutes. Those were like fluke things. Did Tatum
rupture his Achilles because they played 82 instead of 70 games?
Well, they're saying he played more games than like anybody in the league over the last 7 years.
Okay, well, it's 7 years. You're saying an accumulation of 7 years did this.
Yeah.
I mean, Sure. Okay, fine. If he played 10% less games, his Achilles is going to be like, I'm fine.
That's what they get for making the finals.
Maybe he shouldn't have played in the Olympics. Maybe like if you're so concerned about this, don't play the Olympics. I mean,
that's also a good point. Yeah.
All these guys also. The thing also is, what do you think they're doing? Like in the off season, they're all playing basketball all the time. Guys are playing basketball all season long. They're not playing maybe the NBA intensity, but these guys are like not sitting around. They're not like in the off season going. I would also think that players today have a lot more of an intense off-season workout program and play a lot more basketball than the guys in previous generations.
Not Harden.
Not Harden. But I think guys probably back then also probably took – and guys had you had injury issues back then also, but you probably had guys being like, okay, I'm going to take the next 2 months off.
Yeah.
I'm actually not going to like – it's being in unbelievable condition is not as important basically. So I'm going to like –
Yeah.
I mean, also, like, we just don't remember how many injuries have happened in the past. So many years have had injuries. Like, what year was everyone really healthy?
I don't know. I don't remember in the 90s. I just remember almost all the stars were always playing, and this year it's like who was injured? We had Curry, LeBron, Dame, Tatum. Like a lot of stars went down.
Guys, I'm just going back like. David Robinson team to miss the season so they can get Tim Duncan.
Mm-hmm.
Guys like Kobe Bryant missed the season. Guys get injured. Jordan.
He missed the season with his foot. He broke his foot.
Yeah, early on in his career, Jordan did. guys got. I mean, it didn't seem as often, but like, I don't know. Also, probably a lot of guys also that got injured, had major injuries, never were able to recover to even play.
Yeah,
Like
I mean, I think it's just random. I mean, the human body's random. Larry Bird ended his career early because he had back problems. Like, it just
Right.
it just happens.
Yeah, a lot of just random shit happens. Basically, I think people are making too much of this. I don't think. Do you think the 70-game season would save any of this?
Probably not, because I do think it's random.
I don't think it would be good. And I guess adding 12 more games adds more randomness, but like, I don't think it would make a considerable difference. Basically,
Well,
you'd have
because
one season.
Everyone's doing so much load management. Who's playing more than 70 games other than Bridges?
Well, I guess the entire Knicks roster, but everyone else.
I mean, seriously though, like most players are like 70 is like a good amount now. So like,
Right. I guess if you have 70 that all play 50.
yeah, that's not fun either. I want the guys playing like all the games that they're assigned to.
Right. I think and what was it? Jordan, not Jordan. What's his name on the Denver who played who ended up playing?
Aaron Gordon.
Yeah, Aaron Gordon. That's what I meant, not Jordan. Gordon. He was like, "There's not enough time off in between games." And you're like, in the playoffs, I was like, "There's a couple of days off in between a lot of the games." And like, what do you want? The season can't go on to like August. And Aaron Gordon's like, "Can we make game 2 of this series in July so I can recover?"
Yeah, I mean, it's funny you said that when they actually did have an extra day between games that game.
Yeah, I mean, the Knicks and the Pacers have a huge amount of time in between. Yeah, I don't know. What do you think about the West? So, you taking OKC or Minnesota?
Minnesota.
I'd love to see Minnesota win. Do you think Minnesota's a better team?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah, I do.
I think it's pretty close. I would say OKC is a better team. I'm going to say OKC wins in 6 games.
I'm going Minnesota in 6.
Okay. By the way, so even Bill Simmons today, by the way, in his podcast, said how awesome Julius Randle has been in the playoffs.
He's been really good.
Knicks fans who have been going on and on about Julius Randle being non-playoff performer and dog shit this, and like, people have just like, it's amazing how much Knicks fans call for this guy to be off the team after being a 3-time All-Star.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of the fact that Julius Randle is having a hell of a run in the playoffs?
I'm loving it. I mean, I've always liked him, and I thought it was obvious that when he's not on an ankle that needs surgery, he's a good player, and he doesn't just suddenly forget how to play because it's the playoffs. Like, yeah, he was bad in the Atlanta series. He also had Elfrid Payton as his point guard. So, like, when he has a good team around him, he's a good player. So, I was surprised at all the vitriol that went towards him.
I mean, that year when the Knicks first run to the playoffs, Randle had a big season. He crushed the Hawks during the regular season, and everyone just wanted so much from him in the playoffs. The Hawks adjusted, and Tibbs and Randle was not able to fully adjust to what the Hawks were doing. Tibbs only had so many options. It was a tough series.
The other starters were like Noel and Bullock. Like, it was not. I don't even know how that team got as high of a seed as they did.
It was 2021. How many players on that Knicks team are still in the NBA?
Yeah, hardly any. So, I mean, he did have a bad series, but it was also like, yeah, they could completely focus their entire defense around him.
No, I'm asking a legit question, Jay. It was Mitch, Randle. Who else from that team is still in the NBA?
I will tell you right now. Barrett.
Oh yeah, R.J. Barrett. Yes. But in
Alec
fairness,
Burks.
he's playing in Siberia.
Alec Burks.
Alec Burks. Okay.
Are we counting Taj Gibson? I think he played like one game.
He's kind of in the NBA still.
Kevin Knox, who sat on the bench for Golden State.
He played some garbage minutes. I hate to tell you that.
Quickly, who wears a suit for Toronto. And Obi.
Okay. There's more guys than I even realized were.
Yeah, but they're all like. There's not one starter among that. I mean, I guess RJ, but.
and Quickly actually are
Yeah.
both starters. They're both starters on a team that won like 20 games last year.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, and they're both injured for half the season. But like, it really wasn't like, and also you weren't getting exactly the best version of those players.
And there's like 10 other guys that were on the roster that are just not in the league anymore.
There really wasn't a lot of support in that team. The following year against the Cavs, he starts off looking really great, and then, or 2 years ago, I guess later, he looks great versus the Cavs, gets injured early on, and then people are like, he sucks. And you're like, he had off-season surgery. Like, he was really injured.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm not surprised.
But anyway, so Randall, I will root for Randall and Dante against any other team in the NBA, not named the Knicks.
Correct.
If the Knicks can play them in the finals, I want nothing but bad things to happen. I want them to play. I want the Minnesota to get crushed if the Knicks play them. Otherwise, it will be so weird if Minnesota makes it and they play the Pacers.
Yeah.
That will be just some kind of weird irony of this trade. But it is crazy that the trade happened and they're both in the finals. I mean, both in the conference finals.
If they both make the finals, that is the definition of a win-win trade.
Yeah. Jay, do you think the watch party? So they've been having watch parties. I haven't confirmed yet whether they're going to have watch parties for this series. I assume they're going to.
Yeah.
Do you think the watch party? And I guess they had in the Celtics series, they had at least one watch party in the Garden, which would be awesome. I don't even know when they sold those tickets or not. I don't think they sold. I think they were free, but you had to I don't know how you even got the tickets.
Right.
But do you think the watch party outdoors on Friday night would be fun? The standout.
I think the energy will be a lot of fun. I don't know how much I enjoy standing outside for 3 hours. There's probably going to be some annoying people out there. Also, some of the stuff I've seen afterwards, like throwing stuff at people and
that's ridiculous. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like the more annoying people are going to be there.
I want to take I'm on the fence about this, but I would like to take my son, who's 13, to this. My wife is like, you're out of your goddamn mind. And I'm like, my son's like, well, if we're going to go, we can't be like, I don't want to be super far back. I'm like, well, then you have to go kind of early. And then you're waiting there. It's not even just a 3-hour game. You're going to be there a whole extra hour to get
at least.
At least. My wife's like, this is like kind of being in Times Square for New Year's Eve. And I'm like, yeah, people seem like they have fun doing. I'm like, I never actually did that because I think those people are insane. But this sounds really fun. And she's like, you're like, this is ridiculous. Why would you do this? Why would you torture him like this? I'm like, you don't understand sports. I love you, but you do not understand sports. She told me she was last night my daughter had a flag football game, and after the game, she's walking to the parking lot. She hears another couple where the wife's like berating her husband, and being like, "You can't have him. You can't. What are you going to stand outside like it's New Year's Eve? This is not a fun thing."
That's hilarious.
You think? Not that you have any perspective as a parent, Jay, but would you take your 13-year-old son to this?
Probably not.
Okay, cool. My son is being influenced by my wife now. He's like, I don't know. Is this really going to be fun? Are we going to stand there for 3 hours? I'm like, but the energy.
So in all caps, Andrew writes, Mark, stay the hell away from MSG. Don't even go to a watch party. He doesn't want your curse being brought to the...
To be fair, the last 2 times me and my son have gone, but the last 3 times me and my son have gone to a game, we was the blowout last Saturday. That was awful. Then my whole family, we all went to see the Knicks lose to Detroit in December, and then I took my son to Game 7 against the Pacers.
Yeah, so don't go. Don't go. Bring him to like a local bar if you have to. Bring him to like a sports bar.
I don't think I'm allowed to bring him. I think you're not allowed. I can bring him to a watch party. I'm not allowed to bring him to a bar to watch the game.
So what is the cutoff? Because you can bring kids to a bar. When are they?
You can't. At certain time. You're right. During the day, you mean?
I guess
you can't bring a kid to a bar at night.
So you could bring a kid to a bar as long as the sun is out. It's like a weird rule.
So.
I don't understand the rules.
I don't think a bar is allowed to have kids in the bar.
Go to Williamsburg.
They can't have 18-year-olds in the bar. I mean, legally, they definitely cannot have a 13-year-old in the bar.
But you could bring a 6-year-old.
Yeah. Well, I think there must be some. I don't know the rules.
Like, what's the cutoff?
maybe it's sundown. I don't know. Everyone turns to werewolves.
Or is there an age thing? Like 7 is okay, but 8 is not? I don't know.
Is he 12 or 13? He's 12, officer. Well, that's fine then. Here the beer. I think there's some kind of the bars are also restaurants, and like I could go I could probably take him to eat there at like 6 o'clock in the afternoon or 6 o'clock, but like there's some time where like we were at what's the bar we went to?
Stout?
Stout, yeah. Do you see any kids at Stout?
No.
Yeah, I think there's a reason for that. I just don't think they're letting kids in. I think bars are not letting kids into these things.
Take them to like a Chili's or something.
That'll be awesome.
I mean, they'll have the game on there.
I can also just turn the game on at home.
Yeah, that's true.
But I just wanted like real energy. I mean, if Stat was like, bring your kid night, we really want to lose our liquor license night. But there's some rule in that. Anyway, Jay, anything else you want to cover for this?
No, I think we covered it all.
By the way, people are saying it's weird that they have not announced the MVP yet. Do you think they've not announced the MVP because they're waiting to see if the Knicks go to the finals and they want to give the award to Brunson?
Probably, yeah.
That must be it.
So we are NY Knicks Podcast on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Patreon, and YouTube. We are Crumpled Bacon on Twitch. NY Knicks Podcast, the New York Knicks Podcast at gmail.com if you want to email us. And we will be back. We're trying not to, we're doing these shows kind of like at random because we don't want to jinx the games. So the Knicks seem to always lose if we, right before we do a show. So,
right.
So we're kind of seeing how the series goes before we pick a day to record.
Yes, we do not want to,
we don't want our bad luck mojo affecting these games. So we will be back sometime next week.
We announced at the end of last season that this would be the last season of the show, and we're in the conference finals. So maybe we're helping.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, maybe that's what Bridges said at halftime. He's like, we got to do it for Marc and Jay. They've been at this for 15 years.
That would really be. It would be great if they announced that. They're like Brunson's like, well, I mean, I even only had a podcast because of Marc and Jay.
Roommates podcast. Inspired by Marc and Jay.
Inspired by Marc and Jay, exactly.
All right, so thanks for listening, everybody. We will be back sometime next week, and let's go Knicks. Oh, you didn't even give your prediction for the series. I don't think either of us did.
Okay, well, I think we're predicting the Knicks are going to win the series. I thought that went without saying, Jay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to say Knicks in 6.
I'm going Knicks in 7.
Wow. You're going back for a Game 7 back in New York, and New York righting the ship.
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Exercising all demons at MSG in a Game 7.
Knicks in 5?
I'll take it.
Okay.
All right. Thanks for listening, everybody.
My love.